with her husband as he bought ammo? And did she go to that nightclub before? Allegedly suggesting she tried to stop her husband from doing any harm. This comes just as we learn more about the gunman himself. Did he lead a secret life? New reports tonight he was a patron at that club. His former classmates this evening and witnesses who say he was on gay dating apps. At the hospital, many of the patients, the survivors, brought outside how they played dead, how he trapped them. In the wake of the terror, the president tonight taking on Donald Trump, his most aggressive words yet, and just in, Trump's response. In other news, the deadly shootout inside a Walmart today. SWAT teams moving in, horrified customers hiding. And severe storms hitting from Texas right up through Chicago in the next 24 hours.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we're back tonight from Orlando, where there are fast-moving developments. The FBI right now is laser-focused on the gunman's wife. ABC News has just learned that after agreeing to be questioned, authorities confronted her with closed-circuit TV footage from around Orlando, and then a polygraph. Tonight, this video, this is Omar Mateen's wife with a hoodie on getting into that car. Agents escorting her back to her apartment to pack up her things. It's not clear where she is tonight. But the gunman's family tells ABC News that the wife is in fact under FBI scrutiny, and all of this comes as we learn more about the shooter's secret life. What a former classmate is now revealing to us, and patrons of that Orlando nightclub who say he'd been there several times before. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Florida, leading us off.
Tonight, the FBI is locked in on the wife of Omar Mateen, trying to determine if she had any direct knowledge of her husband's deadly plot. Law enforcement sources say that Noor Salman allegedly went with her husband to buy ammo prior to the attack and had recently gone to the Post nightclub with him at least once. ABC News has learned Salman has allegedly suggested to the FBI that she tried to talk her husband out of harming anyone, but it's unclear whether she knew or believed an attack was imminent. Today, her father-in-law telling our Lindsay Janice Salman was under FBI scrutiny.
They spoke to her. I want to leave it at that, and I don't want to talk about anything.
Salman finally agreed to answer questions after they showed her, among other things, closed-circuit TV footage showing her and her husband at locations in Orlando. Investigators are trying to determine whether they were scouting possible targets. After she started answering questions, agents polygraphed her to determine whether she was telling them the truth. Last night, Noor Salman could be seen going back to her apartment after the FBI search. Inside the couple's apartment, video shot by Univision shows a seemingly normal young family of three.
She was super sweet and a fantastic mother.
But secretly, Omar Mateen had murderous intentions and had at one time been under FBI surveillance for 10 months. There were even confidential informants. A fact that the owner of the store that sold him the guns, a former NYPD cop, was not aware of.
As a law enforcement guy, would you have liked to have known that the FBI was investigating him for terrorism?
It would have been fantastic. He wouldn't have gotten a gun.
A frustrated gun store owner tonight, and Pierre Thomas joins us live. Pierre, is there a chance this wife will now be arrested?
David, there certainly is. If they determine she knew about this attack beforehand, it's likely they will charge her because they want to send a message. If someone knows about potential mass murder, they have to come forward. David?
Pierre Thomas leading us off tonight from Florida. Thank you. Our team with new reporting as well on the gunman's secret life. A former classmate is now coming forward. Also, patrons of that Orlando nightclub saying he'd been there many times before and that he'd been on gay dating apps. And the question now, was he hiding a life at odds with his strict faith? ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross tonight.
It's music, it's dance floor, it's welcoming vibe made the Pulse nightclub a huge draw for Florida's gay community. And tonight, employees and patrons say one of its regulars was Omar Mateen. James Van Horn says he saw the killer there many times.
It's not like he just sat there and stared at people. He was an active person that tried to, to find somebody, maybe to go to bed with that night.
Witnesses have told FBI agents that Mateen posted pictures of himself on gay dating apps. And what appears to be the secret life of Mateen is now a central focus of the FBI's investigation into the motive behind the terror attack. Cord Zedenia, who also saw Mateen at Pulse, says he talked about having a wife and a child.
I know the struggle of him, that his wife and stuff and his family didn't know that he was gay, but He's been doing this, coming to these clubs for years and years and years.
Today, Mateen's ex-wife Satora told ABC News that he told her he often frequented nightclubs without saying they were gay clubs.
Do I think he was gay?
She struggled with my question.
At this point, I think he might have been. Maybe wasn't able to be honest about it at all to anybody because of the family and the culture that he's from.
Mateen's interest in gay men goes back at least 10 years, according to a former classmate at a 2006 law enforcement training course who did not want his face shown.
He asked me if I was gay, and because I wasn't out at the time, I told him, no, I'm not. And he said, if you were gay, you would definitely be my type of guy.
Yet somehow Mateen, a Muslim, was drawn to ISIS, a terror group that preaches that homosexuality is punishable by death.
And Brian Ross is with us tonight because even though there is no link to a larger plot to ISIS, that group is not only celebrating him, but they now have a new threat tonight against America and against New York City.
That's right, David, as they always do in their propaganda campaigns, making new threats against America using video of President Obama, Donald Trump, and the New York City City Hall, David.
All right, Brian Ross and your team, thanks to you tonight. We witnessed something today truly heart-wrenching. Several of the survivors, the patients at the hospital, coming before the cameras and tearfully revealing what they saw, what they heard, what they survived. Many of them on the floor of that nightclub beside people who'd been killed, playing dead themselves as the gunman came back through to shoot again. Here's ABC's Wjla Benitez.
Tonight, survivors describing the terrifying moments when they came face to face with that killer. This is Norman Cassiano just moments after being shot.
Everyone just was ducking and closing their eyes. I myself was praying and just saying that this can't be my last moment.
Norman was one of over 20 people huddling in bathroom stalls, hiding.
The shooter came in. We started screaming and yelling at him, like, please don't do this. He had then grabbed the gun and shot over the top.
The shooter laughing.
It's just very intense how someone could be doing what he's doing and laugh.
Angel Colon shot, unable to move, forced to play dead as the gunman continued his rampage.
He's shooting everyone that's already dead on the floor. I was able to peek over, and I can just see him shooting at everyone.
20-year-old Patience Carter, a college student and aspiring singer, shot and clinging to life in that bathroom, tonight struggling.
The guilt of being alive is heavy.
Patience listening as Mateen calls 911, pledging allegiance to ISIS and watching him struggle, his gun jamming.
He was like, damn, like it jammed. So with my face under the stall, looking, I could see him put down his machine gun.
And then the SWAT team breaks in, the water pipes break.
They shot him dead. There was water starting to rise. I was getting really scared because I was thinking, like, if I don't get, like, they don't get to me soon or something, I might drown sitting here in this water. I was begging for God to take the soul out of my body because I didn't want to feel any more pain. I didn't want to get any more shots.
Her raw emotion tonight, overwhelming.
So brave to share their stories today. And Gio, we should point out tonight that several patients are still in critical condition.
That's right, David. 6 patients are still in critical condition right now at the hospital. But the good news right now, some of them have been released. We learned that today, and they are improving, David.
That is encouraging. Wjla Benitez on the scene for us again tonight. Next this evening, to the fallout from this terror and the race for the White House. Tonight, President Obama blasting Donald Trump in a way we have not heard yet. Late today, Trump responding, and it comes amid a new poll just out tonight. And we should note that some of this polling is from after the attack. It shows Hillary Clinton now with a 12-point lead over Donald Trump in a head-to-head matchup. Clinton now at 49%, Trump 37%. ABC's Jonathan Carl with the president's angry words today and Trump's fiery response tonight.
Today, an impassioned President Obama sought to dismantle and discredit Donald Trump's entire approach to fighting terrorism.
If we fall into the trap of painting all Muslims with a broad brush and imply that we are at war with an entire religion, then we are doing the terrorist work for them.
In an unprecedented move, he had the nation's top military official by his side as he labeled Trump's ideas un-American.
We now have proposals from the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States to bar all Muslims from emigrating to America. This is a country founded on basic freedoms, including freedom of religion. We don't have religious tests here.
Hours after the Orlando attack, Trump said Obama should resign for refusing to use the words radical Islamic terrorism.
This Orlando attack was just absolutely horrendous, and yet he still doesn't even use the word of radical Islamic terror.
Today, the president fired back.
There's no magic to the phrase radical Islam. It's a political talking point. It's not a strategy. Not once has an advisor of mine said, man, if we really use that phrase, we're going to turn this whole thing around. Not once.
And he went on.
They know full well who the enemy is. So do the intelligence and law enforcement officers who spend countless hours disrupting plots and protecting all Americans, including politicians who tweet.
John Carl with us live tonight at a Trump rally in North Carolina. And John, Donald Trump late today responding to the president's attack.
Trump has fired back with a written response saying, quote, President Obama claims to know our enemy, and yet he continues to prioritize our enemy over our allies, and for that matter, the American people. And that's Trump's response.
John Carl with us live tonight from a very loud town hall there. John, thank you. Meantime, the White House monitoring developments in another terror case unfolding overseas tonight. A deadly terror attack outside Paris, just as France now hosts a major soccer tournament under heightened security. A police chief and the mother of his child were brutally stabbed to death. The attacker posting a 13-minute rant live on Facebook from right inside their home. After a 3-hour standoff, SWAT teams stormed in, killing the attacker and then rescuing the couple's 3-year-old son. Back here at home tonight, we are tracking severe storms hitting right now. 50 million Americans in the path in the next 24 hours. This tornado touching down near Amarillo. Alerts posted across the heartland at this hour. And look at this, hail. That is hail, not flooding there. The Red Rocks venue outside Denver. Just incredible. Let's get right to meteorologist Ginger Z, because this stretches, you were telling us, all the way through Chicago in the next 24 hours.
Right. Chicago will get its first round overnight tonight. And I want to take you straight to the map, David, because we've still got a tornado watch in much of southeastern Minnesota. Severe thunderstorm watch that now stretches into southwestern Wisconsin back through Des Moines. That's all along that warm front. So you see Chicago getting it there after midnight tonight. That is the first round. Then as we go into tomorrow, the cold front approaches, and you can see the shape from Detroit to Cleveland. Toledo's in there, Louisville to almost Nashville. Damaging wind, hail, even a possibility of tornadoes, fueled by, of course, heat. And look how hot. Wednesday into Thursday, heat advisories, Dallas to Little Rock.
All right, tracking it through tomorrow. Ginger, thank you. We're also learning more at this hour about an alleged Russian hack attack on the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee in Washington, D.C. Did the Russians steal files, steal opposition research on Donald Trump? ABC's Cecilia Vega in Washington for us. Cecilia?
David, we are talking about spies linked to Russian intelligence agencies here, and they went straight for the research on Donald Trump. And the DNC has files on Trump going back years that they likely plan to use against him during this nasty campaign. The hackers had access to some files for about a year and could even read all DNC staff emails and chats. We are also learning that Russian spies targeted the 2 presidential campaigns. No comment from Trump, but Hillary Clinton said today there is no evidence her team was ever hacked. David?
Cecilia, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Tuesday. The other news tonight, the armed standoff inside a Walmart. The gunman taking hostages, customers hiding, and our team is on the scene at this hour. Also, the outrage tonight in one American city after a police officer is caught on camera accused of stomping on the head of a suspect. There was also an urgent manhunt for an escaped killer considered dangerous. Police searching from the air and on the ground right now. And of course, we'll continue tonight on Orlando. Thousands paying tribute overnight in that city. We have much more ahead.
My business was built with passion, but I keep it growing by making every dollar count. That's why I have the Spark Cash Card from Capital One. With it, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all of my purchasing. And that unlimited 2% cash back from Spark means thousands of dollars each year going back into my business, which adds fuel to my bottom line. What's in your wallet?
Why are you deleting these photos? Because my teeth are yellow. Why don't you use a whitening toothpaste?